The Chernobyl disaster is one of the most devastating nuclear accidents in human history, occurring in 1986 and releasing massive amounts of radioactive material into the environment. While its impact on humans was catastrophic, including the forced displacement of over 116,000 people from the contaminated zones in Ukraine and Belarus, an intriguing phenomenon emerged. Certain animals, like wild boars, managed to survive and even thrive in the radioactive zone. How did this happen? The Chernobyl exclusion zone was heavily contaminated with radiation, but studies have shown that since 1987, populations of certain animals, such as deer, wolves, and wild boars, have actually increased in the restricted area. This was unexpected, as it was believed that radiation would be universally lethal to all life forms in the area. Why did wild boars survive? Environmental adaptability. Wild boars are highly adaptable to harsh conditions, such as extreme temperature fluctuations, and can eat almost anything, including waste and scraps. This allows them to survive in an environment where food sources might be scarce for other animals. High reproductive rate. Wild boars are highly fertile, capable of giving birth to new litters every 6 months. This rapid reproduction rate has helped their population grow in a region that remains highly contaminated. Early maturity and longevity. These animals also have the ability to mature early and live long lives, which increases their chances of surviving in such a challenging environment. Why specifically wild boars? Radioactive fungi. Wild boars particularly enjoy rooting up fungi from the soil, which grows at depths of 16 to 18 inches beneath the surface. This underground fungi accumulates radioactive cesium, which has a long-lasting presence in the soil. Wild boars ingest this contaminated fungi, leading to the retention of radiation in their bodies. Slow migration of radioactive elements. Radioactive elements like cesium-137 and cesium-135 move very slowly through the soil, sometimes only about a millimeter per year. Therefore, the radioactive material from Chernobyl continues to persist in the ground and is absorbed by animals that feed on it. This slow migration also means that the contamination from nuclear weapons tests conducted during the 1960s is still present in the environment and contributes to the radioactivity in wild boars. Effects on other wildlife. While some species have managed to adapt, many other animals have been severely affected. For example, deer and reindeer populations in Norway also showed high levels of contamination after the wind and rain carried radioactive particles from Chernobyl to other parts of Europe. Scientists observed significant mutations, tumors, weakened immune systems, premature aging, and changes in blood circulation in many wildlife species exposed to radiation. These health issues have persisted for decades in some cases. Conclusion. Despite the devastating impact of the Chernobyl disaster on both human and environmental health, certain species like wild boars have surprisingly thrived due to their ability to adapt, unique feeding habits, and rapid reproduction rates. This raises interesting questions about how radiation affects wildlife in ways we didn't expect. The persistence of radioactive materials in the environment, such as cesium, which continues to be absorbed by plants and animals even decades after the disaster, explains why some animals are still carrying these radioactive elements. It also sheds light on the surprising resilience of certain animals in the face of environmental disaster.